Hello and welcome back to This Week in New Genre Books. My name is Amelia, and from Locus Magazine we're going to tell you all the new science fiction, fantasy, and horror and related books being published the week of November 12th, 2024. First up, science fiction, we have 6 titles. From Sharon Shin, we have Alibi, out from Fairwood Press in trade paperback and ebook. This is a science fiction novel. Teleportation allows Taylor Kendall to live in Chicago, work in Houston, and take up a part-time job tutoring the teenage son of Duncan Phillips, the richest man in America. I mean, it's de rigueur to have a side hustler too these days, isn't it? But the more time she spends in Duncan's lavish home, the more uneasy she becomes. When Duncan Phillips turns up dead, Taylor's on the short list of suspects, even though she was in Atlanta that night. It's only a few minutes away by teleport. Thank you so much for being here. By the way, your time and attention is a finite resource, and we really value it. Please do us a solid and like this video. It helps us more than you might know. From Philip Reeve, we have Thunder City, out from Scholastic Press in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult science fiction novel, the 5th book in the Mortal Engines series. The wheeled city of Motoropolis has been taken over by a rebel faction who killed its leaders and commandeered the city. Now its only hope is a teacher with a plan, and she'll need to find someone who's skilled at fighting revenants. From Maurice Broaddus, we have Breath of Oblivion, out from Tor in hardcover and ebook. This is an Afro-Futurist space opera science fiction novel, second in the Astro Black trilogy. Beyond the Orin Gate, Epic Row and her elite soldiers are stranded. Capturing an alien ship and searching for a way home, they discover a stowaway who may be the key to overcoming the alien forces swarming all around them. From J.S. Dewis, we have The Relentless Legion, out from Tor in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a military science fiction novel, 3rd in the Divide series. The Sentinels have rallied under the leadership of Adelakun Rake. Cavalon Mercer has uncovered the horrifying genetic solution his grandfather is about to unleash on the unsuspecting outer colonies. From C.J. Rivera, we have The Final Orchard, out from Angry Robot UK in trade paperback and ebook. This is a science fiction dystopia novel. In a society where bionic enhancements are the epitome of wealth and power, scientific researcher Dr. Rosio Arata threatens to topple the status quo with her pioneering organic enhancements. Yet when a horrific accident kills her daughter, Rose's quest for answers leads her to become trapped in a twisted version of her life's work. From Alan Smale, we have Radiant Sky, out from Kasich, SF and Fantasy in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a science fiction novel, 2nd in the Apollo Rising series. Vivian Carter leads a lunar geological survey team comprised of both Americans and Soviets across the lunar surface as they chart the moon and collect samples. This is already super dangerous, but then they're threatened by an ambush. Next up, horror, we have 2 titles. From Nicole Wilson, we have The Keeper of the Key, from Parliament House Press in trade paperback and ebook. This is a young adult horror novel. 16-year-old Rachel moves with her mother to an old rundown mansion owned by her mother's boyfriend. The boyfriend has a long list of house rules, including stay out of the basement. Stay out of the basement, he says, but something compels Rachel to check it out. From Kat Richardson, we have Storm Waters, out from Fairwood Press in trade paperback and ebook. This is a paranormal noir thriller with horror elements set in New Orleans during the Great Depression. Notorious playboy and ex-bootlegger Marty Storm is accused of a gruesome murder. He must confront the horrifying secrets of his own past and the source of his family's fortune and power. Next up, fantasy, we have 9 titles. From Tad Williams, we have The Navigator's Children, out from Daw in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel, the 4th and final in the Last King of Austin Ard series, sequel to the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy. The Hayholt is now capital of the Kingdom of Men, but the fabled castle is under attack. And as the world is distracted by this strike against humankind, the Norn's witch queen Uktukku turns toward the mysterious, fateful valley called the Vale of Mists. From Joyce Chung, we have Fireheart, out from Snowy Wings in trade paperback and ebook. This is a fantasy novel, the 1st book in the Fireheart duology. A knifesmith's eldest daughter dreams of making a great sword like the one created by her great-grandmother. She travels to apprentice under the head of a powerful swordsmith holding, and her impulsiveness threatens to destroy her dreams. From Amber Clement, we have Fortune's Kiss, out from Union Square & Co. in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult Mexican-inspired fantasy novel. Best friends Maite and Lorena make a pact to enter the newly returned legendary gambling den, Fortune's Kiss, to play Lotteria. Once inside, they realize that beneath the enchanting glamour, The salon hides treacherous secrets. Then the bodies start piling up. From T.L. Huchu, we have The Legacy of Arniston House, out from Tor in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a dark urban fantasy novel, the fourth in the Edinburgh Nights series. Ropo Moyo is a wannabe magician, can speak to the dead, and has officially given up being an intern. Leaving Scottish magic behind, she now works for the English Sorcerer Royal. Just as she adjusts to working for the English, an old enemy reveals a devastating secret about her gran, and Ropa's world falls apart. From Ed MacDonald, we have Witch Queen of Red Winter, out from Tor in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy thriller novel, the third in the Red Winter Chronicles series. Having been saved from execution at the hands of the Draw-In, powerful magic users Rain used to count as allies, Rain finds herself in the Fault, a vast magical wasteland, which is falling apart before her eyes. From L.E. Modicid, we have Overcaptain, out from Tor in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel 24th in the Saga of Recluse series. Alia Kal, Overcaptain in the Mirror Lancers of Sayador, has completed his tour of duty as an officer in charge of a small remote post. He just wants to finish his assignment, but he discovers corruption in the Merchanter clans of Sayador. When the investigating Mirror Lancer officers end up dead, he must replace them. From Tasha Suri, we have The Lotus Empire, out from Orbit US in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is an epic fantasy novel, the third in the Burning Kingdoms trilogy inspired by Indian history. As an ancient magic returns to Ahiranya and threatens its very foundations, Empress Malini and Priestess Priya will stop at nothing to save their kingdoms, even if it means they must destroy each other. From Alyssa Weiss, we have We Shall Be Monsters, out from Del Rey in trade paperback and ebook. This is a fantasy novel. Gemma and her mother live in Michigan in an isolated antiques shop near woods that conceal a gateway to fairyland. Gemma disobeys, and the witch takes her mother in retribution. Now, Gemma must rescue her mother and break the curse. From Jeff Wheeler, we have The Invisible College, out from 47 North in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel first in the Invisible College duology. Robinson Hawksley is an elocutionist at the Invisible College who has perfected a way of teaching speech to train sorcerers. Now the world needs more sorcerers to protect against the looming Aesir threat, an ancient magical race that has been hibernating in the ice and are now awakening. Finally, in our collections, anthologies, and nonfiction category, we have 2 new books. From Eugen Bacon and Abimbola Adelakun, we have Afro-Centered Futurisms in our speculative fiction, out from Bloomsbury Academic in trade paperback, hardcover, and ebook. This is a nonfiction anthology of original essays, part of the publisher's Black Literary and Cultural Expressions series. Introduction by Suyi Davies Okungbua. Authors include Dilman Dila, Noreen Dorman, Nuzo Ono, Shingai Njeri Kagunda, Suyi Okungbua, Toby Ogundaran, and Zan Van Rooyen offer boldly hybrid characters, both creative and scholarly, that interface Afrocentric artifacts and exegesis. From Paul Kidby, we have Designing Terry Pratchett's Discworld, out from Harper in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is an art book looking at how Pratchett and Kidby worked together to bring the Discworld to life through Kidby's art, influences from fine art and popular culture, and more. That wraps up this week. Please subscribe and don't forget to turn notifications on so that YouTube can help us connect every week. You're a completist, I can tell, because you're still here. So I know that you also want to make sure you know what new books are coming out from your favorite authors. Drop me a comment and tell me what's on your TBR pile. We are at Locus Mag and at Locus Magazine on most platforms. We'll tell you lots more over there about this whole science fiction, fantasy, horror publishing industry. Locus is a 501c3 nonprofit. We love books so much. Thanks for spending some time with us. If you've got it to give, we've got a Patreon. We couldn't do this work without your support. We'll see you next week with more new books.